funny.
Joplin Marshall Jr.
Really?
My real name is Marshall. But I took the first two.
Right. I remember seeing I saw your name on books or information at Dad's house.
I sent you a story when you wrote up the thing
right.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Was it Beanie's 75th birthday? What birthday was it?
Yeah, that's right. You did send the story. Yeah, 70th.
70th? Yeah. And that poster, Beanie, I got that poster, Beanie, that you made. He said you did it.
That's it. I did.
It must have cost a lot of money.
Yeah, I did.
Crabtree, as I told you, was a hustler from my hometown.
Right.
He never worked. He just hustled all his life. And a good friend, he finally became a good friend of Beanie. And I got to know Beanie through Crabtree. But when Crabtree died, I went to his funeral. And Beanie was somewhere, he might have been in Biloxi, I don't know where he was, but he was way away from home. Somehow he got word, maybe off the internet, that Crabtree died, and there were flowers at the funeral from Beanie.
Yeah, he had some strokes then, and he was not feeling well, my dad, by that time, when he was in Biloxi. He had a stroke, but he pretty much recovered.
Yeah. Well, you gonna do anything about the malpractice? Right.
Virginia Beach?
I used to visit Virginia Beach, but most of the time it was with my family. And I knew Beanie lived there, but one day, I didn't know where he lived, but one day I was driving back up to my cabin, which turned out to be about 5 or 6 cabins above where Beanie lived. And he was crossing the street coming from the beach. And he ran across the street, so I looked him up and went by to see him that night, and he invited me down. And then my family and I went down another time, and my son wanted to go see Beanie. So, of course I did too, but the whole family, we all went up to see Beanie and Norma, and we had a good chat. But my son beat Beanie playing, that's why my son liked Beanie. He didn't know him before that.
It's one of the rare occasions Dad got beat, huh? That's quite a legend.
Now another story about Beanie, and this is another one where he got beat, but I don't know whether you want to hear that or not.
Of course.
We had a one-pocket tournament in Lynchburg, Virginia, and we advertised it through the news. There weren't any magazines then for pool, so we advertised it through the Village News, which was a newspaper that Beanie used to get. And people came to that tournament in Lynchburg from all over California, Florida. People came to that tournament. But Beanie didn't get that. He was away somewhere. He might have been in Chicago, Baltimore, or Chicago, somewhere like that, playing. So after the tournament was over, he heard there was a lot of one-pocket playing in Lynchburg, so he came down there, and nearly everybody knew him. So Beanie started doing things that he had a lot of little things in the phone book he could do with the phone book. I've forgotten exactly what the word, something about your age or something in the phone book. But he told these guys that were poker and card players that he would play them knock poker, which was his game, you know. You knew that. Play them knock poker and give them half of their money back. So he broke them 3 times that night. He broke those guys 3 times with that knock poker game. So Beanie came back about a month after that. He had a white Cadillac convertible, off-white, or almost white. I remember that's what he had at the time. And Jimmy Fusco went to Beanie's room to play him. Beanie wasn't there, he was up in Lynchburg, so they drove to Lynchburg to play. I watched them play one ball, one pocket all night till 4 in the morning. Beanie lost 5,000 and made a date to play the next morning. They would hang around. He would wire Western Union and get more money. So he did. Came in the pool room. I went over there because I wanted to see it. And they didn't show up. I waited and waited with Beanie. They didn't show up. Finally, they called and said Jimmy Fusco had to go home and feed his dog. He had 2 old dogs that he thought the world of. He said he had to go home and feed those dogs. But anyway, a black guy showed up named Hall Jones. He's dead now, but from Chicago. Beanie knew him, so he made a game with him. He got half his money back off Paul. that Saturday afternoon, he beat Paul out of 2,500. I mean 25,000.
Well, how funny that the Fuscos had to leave when they were winner, huh?
Yeah.
I thought you're always supposed to let the loser try to get the money back. I thought that's the protocol for the game.
Yeah.
At least you got to give them a chance, huh?
Right. Well, Beanie told the story of, I was sitting right beside Beanie, maybe the first year he came here, I don't know, anyway. It's the first year they had the dinner for the One Pocket Hall of Fame. And Beanie was in it, you know. And he had to get up and talk, so he told that story.
He did tell that story, okay.
That Fusco had to go back.
Uh-huh.